One of the most important things on a farm is this. It's a gate. It keeps your animals in and it stops them from wandering away. There we go. They're also an essential part of the garden. They can keep potential plant hunters like your donkeys at bay, and they can also be decorative and define a space. This is a new part of my garden, and to finish it off, I'm going to put in a new garden bed and a gate. But for that, I'll need Adam, because he knows the difference between rails and stiles.
Hello, mate. So what's your idea?
So I think a couple of new gates in here,
Yeah.
new garden bed here. I think it's going to be magic.
All right, Charlie, for the material, I've got some 25 by 100 treated pine, which is great because it's cost effective. So what are you thinking about the design?
So I'm thinking really simple gate. It's going to go well with the fence.
Yep.
Nice material, and then maybe stain it black.
Yeah, well, sometimes the most simple things are the most beautiful. What I was thinking, if I start cutting up the materials, then you can start staining it.
Yep, that sounds good.
Getting through it, Charlie?
Getting there.
Very good.
You cutting corners again?
Always cutting corners, mate. No, these are the stiles. So these are the rails. They're
Yes.
going to go across this way, and these will be the stiles, and they're going to sandwich between.
So you got your Harry Styles in place.
I do. And now we'll put the rails across. But the tip here is to actually use the table to your advantage. So see how I've lined it up down the bottom, and I've lined it up here? That's just going to help keep it square when we build it. Fantastic, Charlie. And then another way to check square is just to go diagonal, diagonal.
How far off are we?
I think that's spot on. That might actually be to the millimetre. All right, Charlie, I'll keep drilling. You can bolt it together. Sound like a plan?
Oh, it's looking good.
Mate, is this what you envisioned?
Mate, I had gate expectations for this, and look at it.
I think it has come to life.
Yeah.
But there is some stuff that you need to remember when you
righto.
do build a gate, and that is the bracing. That's the most important part.
Yeah.
Basically, if you were the post...
I'll be the post, hang on.
Yeah, so you're holding it. Yeah, so the weight wants to go down.
Sure does.
At the moment. So if I put the brace this way, that's going to be the wrong way, because that means that our fixings are actually trying to hold the gate up.
Okay.
Whereas if we go this way, keep holding it, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, get it in there.
We go this way, so the weight wants to come down. It's coming down our timber and into the post.
I instantly feel better.
That's right. So it makes it nice and strong.
Yeah, can you get that on now?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, I was wondering what was taking you so long, Charlie. Are you going to hold it for me?
I will hold it up for you. Oh, I just realised how good my measurements were.
Spot on, eh? So that's my job done. Oh, Charlie, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, I've helped you with the whole, you know, carpentry, drilly, saw thing.
Yeah.
I've got a garden bed to plant out. Oh, come on, you can help.
Only because I'm a nice bloke. Done 2 holes, I'm getting there.
You gonna help me do any mulching or not?
Oh, Charlie, I'd love to come out there, but the gates are closed, mate, and I am stuck here.
So how are you getting home? The only way out is out the gate?
I don't need to go that way. I'm going olive picking. Some calamaters for me. It looks good, but Charlie.
It's gonna be an expensive gate.
Charlie, are there any olives that I can get off this? The entrance of a home is often overlooked. It's usually the spot that gets you from the front door to the couch. Now, in my opinion, that is doing it a disservice because it's the first thing you see when you walk in the door, so you want it to have that wow factor. And what's more wow than a sideboard, a timber feature wall, and you know what, I'll even add a mirror so you can make sure you're looking the goods when you walk in and out the door. And I'll start with the sideboard. I've decided to make a floating cabinet using this beautiful Tassie oak timber, but I need it to be wider. So the first thing I'm going to do is laminate these two together. Now, I could use dowels to do that, but I want to keep it nice and simple so everyone can do it. So instead, I'll be using these 100mm screws. When you are laminating two bits of timber together, it's always a good idea to check which edge works best. You can see if I went this way, we end up with a big gap, but going this way, it's nice and tight. So that's the edge I'll be working with. I'm using 100mm screws to laminate this together, but the problem there is it doesn't grab into the second piece of timber enough. So to solve that, I've just got a bigger drill bit with a stopper end. I'll drill in, and that way it gives me the grab I need into this second piece, so we'll have a nice strong joint. With the holes drilled, to laminate it together, I've just ran PVA glue down the join, and the trick here is when you're screwing it off, you just want to use the clamp where you're screwing and work your way along. That way it makes it easier to make sure that the boards are flush. With the timber laminated, I'm now sanding it with some 120 grit sandpaper. I'm ready to start assembling this cabinet, and for that I'm using this pocket hole jig. But if you don't have one, you can simply just go around and nail this cabinet together. You'll just have a few more holes you need to patch. But I'm going for that hidden fixing look, and I want it to be a strong joint, and that's where this comes into its own. I've set the depth, so now I can basically sit my timber in place and start pre-drilling my holes. For the door fronts, I'm using some more Tassie oak timber, but usually they would sit on the outside of the cabinet. Instead, I'm going to be putting this one inside so everything finishes flush. And to attach them, I'll just be using some kitchen hinges. With the holes drilled for the hinges, before I attach it, I'm just going to make a check out at the top, and that's going to be where I put a little pull handle. Oh, this is going to look great. Now, this is a brick wall, so I'll be using some masonry anchors to hold it in place. If you did have a stud wall, you'll just need to find those studs and fix it off. Absolutely gorgeous. I think it looks fantastic, and it's already lifted this entrance. But I'm not done yet. I've still got a feature wall to go, and I'm adding a mirror. I'm starting off with this 12mm MDF sheet. That's going to act as our backing board, and the first thing I need to do is seal it with some undercoat. With the undercoat dry, I'm now going over the backing board with the charcoal paint, and this is going to be a great backdrop to work off. While the paint dries, I'll get on to cutting up these Tassie oak battens, which will then get mounted to our backing board. With the Tassie oak battens cut, I just gave them a quick sand to take off the sharp edges, and now I'm finishing them off with some Danish oil. That looks absolutely stunning. I'm starting off with this corner bit. You'll see that I've added a bit of 12mm Tassie oak. That way, when I sit it in place, it hides the edge of our backing board. Now, I'm using this little gun to nail it in. It takes these little 23 gauge nails, and they don't have a head on them, compared to a normal fixing nail, which obviously have this big head, kind of like myself. I'll be putting 3 nails in each piece, one at the top, one at the bottom, and one in the middle, then using these 7mm spaces in between. The idea with this project is we don't want to see any fixings. That's why we're using these little nails, and it's no different to the backing board. So what I'm going to do with this next batten is actually not fix it in place. I'll put the spaces in and skip to the second batten on. That way, I can take this out, and you'll see that there's 2 holes here. That will allow me to mount it in place, and then we'll add this batten back in at the end. Look at that. Looks absolutely beautiful. Now, I just have to mount it on the wall. With the backing board in place, I can now add the 2 timber battens, which will give us that seamless look of no fixings. I'll be making 2 of these panels so I can mount them above and below the sideboard to create a seamless look. With the battens on the wall, we're now ready for the final piece of this project, and that is a floating mirror, and all starts with this 17mm ply. The first thing I need to do is cut a circle. The simple way, you would have seen it before, finding the centre of this board, getting an off-cut of timber, and then tracing around and using a jigsaw to cut it out. But I've got a router, and I'm doing the same system with this. So I'll sit this in place, I'll put my nail in the centre, and then go around in a circle. Look at that, an absolute perfect circle. Now, I'll just go around the edges, give it a good sand and an undercoat.
Every day's a vacation, yeah, I know you won't hate. Don't make it a situation, yeah, we up in this game. Come on. But no, we ain't playing, every day we get paid.
To add some class to this mirror, we're going to be illuminating it. So I've got this strip lighting, which has some double-sided tape on the back, and I'll be sticking it around the edge of this backing board. To stick the mirror onto the backing board, you just want to make sure that you get a glass and mirror adhesive. And you can see that I've cut the circle smaller than the mirror, so the strip lighting will be hidden. I'm just using a split batten to hold it in place. You just need to make sure that your screws are long enough to go all the way through to the backing board, because I only used a pin gun to hold these battens in place. Lovely. Now, this may seem like a lot of carpentry work, but think about it as 3 separate projects: the sideboard, the timber feature wall, and the mirror. You can choose to do one or all 3. The best part about it is, every time you come home, it's a great first impression. And then, when you go out for the day, well, you're greeted with this beautiful piece of custom hardwood furniture.